Sthita, situated. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: as fire is exhibited in different forms of wood, so under different conditions of the modes of material nature, the pure spirit soul manifests itself in different bodies. Purport: it is to be understood that the body is designated. Prakriti is an interaction by the three modes of material nature, and according to those modes, someone has a small body and someone has a very large body. For example, the fire in a big piece of wood appears very big, and in a stick, the fire appears small. Actually, the quality of fire is the same everywhere, but the manifestation of material nature is such that according to the fuel, the fire appears bigger and smaller. Similarly, the soul in the universal body, although of the same quality, is different from the soul in the smaller body. The small particles of soul are just like sparks of the larger soul. The greatest soul is the super soul. But the super soul is quantitatively different from the small soul. The super soul is described in the Vedic literature as the supplier of all necessities of the smaller soul. Nityo Nityana. One who understands this distinction between the super soul and the individual soul is above lamentation and is in a peaceful position. When the smaller soul thinks himself quantitatively as big as the larger soul, he is under the spell of Maya. For that is not his constitutional position. No one can become the greater soul simply by mental speculation. The smallness or greatness of different souls is described in the Purana as Swansh Bhivancha. The Swamamancha soul is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Bhivinansha souls, or small particles, or eternally small particles, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamayansh, Jiva Loka, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. The small living entities are eternally part and parcel, and therefore it is not possible for them to be quantitatively as great as the super soul. The small living entities are eternally part and parcel, and therefore it is not possible for them to be quantitatively as great as the super soul. Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jitapad Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadutam Parijana Sangitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri राधा कृष्ण पदान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखा। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितनं पवनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम। So dear devotees, thank you so much for giving your kind attention and early morning connecting this Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. This is chapter Lord Kapila's instructions on the execution of devotional services. Lord Kapila is instructing his mother Devhuti. One or two messages we see. This example of fire is exhibited in different forms of wood. So under different conditions of modes of material nature, the pure spirit, soul, man. So in the last four verse, this is the second last verse of this chapter. After one more verse, this is 43. After 44, the chapter will end. So we will try to summarize this chapter also quickly. But one message we are seeing in the last three verses, and this the example Lord Kapila is giving, the example of the firewood, fire, flame, fire flame. And then the flame has two components. One is smoke, another is spark. So Lord Kapila explains that this fire is like the supreme soul. Smoke is the material nature that emanates from the supreme soul by the glances of the supreme soul on the pradhan. Material nature manifest. That's the smoke part. And the sparks are compared to the living entities, the jiva souls, you and me. So last two verses, and this is third, and then the last one, next one. Lord Kapila is explaining to Mother Devhuti that the super soul is great. Nityo Nityanam. Srila Prabhupada quoted this verse hundreds of times in his lectures, in his writings. Nityo Nityanam. Chetnas Chetananam. So the first Nityo is Supreme Soul, Krishna. Nityanam means all the living entities. So Srila Jiva Goswami mentions that from all the eternals, Nityanam, all the eternals, he is the eternal, Nityo. And from all the conscious beings, Chetana Nam, all the conscious beings, he is the conscious, Chetanas. Nityo Nityanam, Chetana Chetananam, Chetanas Chetananam. Eko, he is one. Bahunam, yo vidhati kaman. He's one, but he can fulfill the desires of many. Eko bahunam yo vidhati kaman. Kaman means desires. Desires of millions, of trillions, and gazillions of souls are taken care of the needs. Srila Prabhupada writes in so many purports that living entities have needs. Their desires are fulfilled by that echo, the Supreme Soul. Through the three modes, through the material nature, through all the facilities that echo, the Nitya, the Chetanas, the eternal, the conscious being, Krishna, the Supreme Soul, Vishnu, Hari. Here in these verses, Lord Kapila uses the word Hari multiple times. That Hari. And this Supreme Soul, the spark always stays a spark, the different. Mamai Vancho Jivaloke Jivabhuta Sanatana. Sanatana, forever, eternally. The Jiva souls are the Ansha. Mamai Ansha. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, that these living entities are my Ansha eternally. On this planet Earth, we're not the same as Krishna. And when we go to the higher planetary systems, and when we go to Vaikuntha, when we go to Goloka, based on our qualification, there also we always stay separated energy, Ansha of Krishna as his servant. Jiverte Sabrup hoy Krishna Nityadas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions to Sanatana Goswami. Jiverte Sabrup hoy Krishna Nityadas. So that's one message here Lord Kapila is giving to Mother Devhuti. In the last 4 to 5 verses of this chapter, that message is consistent. Let's quickly also, we have 10 minutes or so. I was thinking because it's the end of the chapter, many times we forget what was the beginning of the chapter when we come to the end of the chapter. So I did a small PowerPoint thing. I hope you all can see. You can see my PowerPoint?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So the first 30 out of 44 verses, the first 38 verses, so less 5 verses, the 38 verses, Lord Kapila is very, very expertly, when I read those 38 verses, translation, I saw full-fledged Ashtanga Yoga explanation by Lord Kapila to Mother Devhuti. So we will see very quickly. You have only 10 minutes. So the first verse number 2 to 4, Lord Kapila explains, and I'm using the words from the translation of the verses. Verse 2 to 4, Yama and Nima, these two part of the Ashtanga Yoga, Lord Kapila explains. Lord Kapila explains, he starts the conversation with Lord Devhuti. He tells, Mother, I will explain to you the yoga process. That's the first verse. And then from verse 2 to 4, he explains that the yogi who is situated in yogic practice, first foremost, he performs his prescribed duties. That's Yama and Nima. He performs his prescribed duty. If his mother, if his father, if his son, he's Kshatriya, he's a Vaishya, he's a businessman, He performs his prescribed duty. He eats frugally. He practices non-violence, truthfulness, cleanliness, so many other qualities. I'm just mentioning some. I can't fit everything in this box, but mentioning is 70% of what's been said in the translation of these verses. But that's Yama and Nima. What not to do, Yama, shade, and what to do is Vidhi, is Nima. For example, we are told not to eat meat, not to have illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication. That is Yama. Nima, chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, attend Kirtan, attend Bhagavad Gita, attend Bhagavatam classes, study, worship the deities, worship the Vaishnavas, follow the etiquettes. Those are Nima. So Nima, Yama. That's what's explained in verse 2 to 4. Then, verse 5 to 11, very expertly, Lord Kapila now explains the asana, the pranayam, and pratyahar part. Lord Kapila says, this yogi who is situated in the yoga, he observes silence, he observes yogic postures, he controls his breathing, pranayam, and he withdraws the senses from sense objects. That's pratyahar. These are word to word translation from verse 5 to 11. And then it becomes very interesting. So you can see here the hierarchy. He's first saying that, in the beginning, first 2 to 4, that this yogi, he becomes, like Srila Prabhupada mentioned, my devotees, my followers are gentlemen and gentle ladies. So this first part, performing prescribed duties, following non-violence, truthfulness, cleanliness, is becoming gentlemen, gentle ladies. That's on the physical level. And then to calm the mind, he's using pranayam and pratyahar and asanas. So mind is calm. Now with that calm mind, this dharana, the focused concentration, this yogi, now this yogi, we see here, it's wonderful. Just like the rivers, these 3 rivers meet in Prayag. So here we see the Karma Yoga, the Jnana Yoga, the Bhakti Yoga, they're all merging into this, not merging the word, but Sangam. So here is the dharana, after the asana, pranayam, pratyahara, the dharana, the focus concentration, this yogi. So this is verse 12 to 19. Lord Kapila explains. So this yogi, he used the tip of, actually this is misspelled, it should be nose. He used the tip of the nose with half closed eyes. See the Lord who has lotus-like eyes. That Lord is holding the conch, disc, and mace. He's wearing flowers, garland. That garland has bees hovering around. And then he has a pearl necklace, he has a crown and a pair of armlets, bracelets, and anklets. This is all his dharana, he's creating an impression, a visual in his mind. This is how my Lord looks like. Trying to create a visual in his heart. His loins and hips encircled by a girdle, most charming, that my Lord is most charming to look at, and his serene aspect gladdens the eyes and souls of the devotees. These are words from the translation. This is how yogi is focusing his peaceful mind. That mind he has given peace using asana, pranayam, pratyahara. And then the most beautiful thing that explains, Lord Kapila explains, that I don't know if many shastras go that deep, Srimad Bhagavatam offers us this special benediction. This dhyana, the meditative absorption, verse 22, almost 14 verses. This yogi, after creating a vision in his mind, now he starts focusing on every limb of the Lord. Those 14 verses. This yogi concentrates his mind on lotus feet. So this meditation starts from the Lord's lotus feet. Then he moves his meditation to the thighs. Those thighs are the storehouse of all energy. Then he focuses on the rounded hips, moon-like navel, nipples, chest, neck, forearms, polished ornaments, disc, Sudarshan Chakra, the conch and the club, garland. Lord is wearing a garland and pearl necklace, nose. Then he focuses on the Lord's nose and cheeks, face, curly hair, lotus-like eyes, and dancing eyebrows. And then yogi, he's practicing, he's seeing the Lord's compassionate glances, smiles of the Lord and laughter of Lord Hari. This is his dhyan. This is his meditation. In his heart, he's trying to focus his mind on individual parts of the body of the Lord, form of the Lord. And then the samadhi part. See what Lord Kapila tells Mother Dehuti. Lord Kapila says, these are the 35 to 38, the 4 verses. So this yogi who has fully meditated on Lord's forms, now what he feels in his samadhi, he feels bliss. What kind of bliss? The yogi gradually develops pure love for Lord Hari. The hairs on his body stand erect through excessive joy, and is constantly bathed in a stream of tears. Gradually, even the mind, so that same mind that he used to control his breathing and from the sense objects, created some visual of the Lord's form on the dharana state. That same mind that was getting attracted to so many millions and billions of things of the material nature. Now that mind is attracted to the Lord. And wonderful, this example is given as one attracts a fish to a hook, and that mind withdraws from material activities. And it's not in the purport, but yeah, it's in the translation. In one of the verse there, in that section, explains that how that mind becomes so absorbed because now mind is seeing Krishna's form, every limb of Krishna's form in his heart. It becomes so absorbed that mind loses connection with the body. Just like a drunkard, intoxicant person forgets that if he has clothes on. We have seen many examples, especially in India. I have seen personally many examples in India when person is so intoxicated on the street lying, he has no idea who he is, what people are thinking about him, if he has clothes on or not. All day, he's falling in the gutter because he has lost connection. His mind has lost connection with his body. So Lord Kapila Dev gave that graphic example of how this devotee, the yogi, whose mind is fully controlled and absorbed on the different limbs of the forms of Lord, in his heart, how he's feeling bliss because he has lost connection with the material body. And that state, Lord Kapila calls, is the liberated state. The liberated devotee being awake to his constitutional position and thus situated in samadhi. And Lord Kapila used the word samadhi, the highest. I guess I lost some text here. The highest state for this devotee. This devotee is meditating on, this yogi is meditating on this form of Lord Vishnu. We'll end here. Thank you so very much for connecting. Any one comment? We have 1 minute. We go back to our share. Madhupati Prabhuji.
Very poor. Thank you very much, Devan Prabhu. I'd like to wish everybody a safe and Krishna conscious day and weekend ahead. A weekend filled with festivities. Tomorrow is Ekadasi. Minimally fasting from grains and meats and increasing our Krishna consciousness. Is there Ekadasi Kirtan tomorrow, Jayaprakash Prabhu?
No, Prabhuji, I'm traveling tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Yeah, there's a program. Anyway, so there'll be Kirtan there in the program. So, and there'll be Ekadasi buffet tomorrow in Govinda's. So you all can join the Ekadasi buffet. The fast breaking time is Parna time. Let me check 1 minute. Fast breaking time on Sunday is from 5:49 to 8:14 a.m. in the morning. 5:49 to 8:14 a.m. We like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shina Shingo, Jaina Shingo, Jai Jaina Shingo, Pradadesh, Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Brinda. Ugravira Mahavishnu Jayantam Sarvatomukam Narsingam Vishanam Bhadramityam Nityam Namiham. Nrsimha Bhagwan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Bless of our humble obeisances to all the Assembled Vaishnavas, Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Bhayasya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Granthal Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande, Hari 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 Bo.
Hari 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 Bo.
Thank you. Hare
Thank you, everybody. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.